What's up? Do some coaching tonight? Okay. We're gonna do... We're gonna do some more laps here. Trying to figure out the right tire pressures, the right
exit looks clear.
setup for this thing. Don't stream and drive, folks. It's usually not a good idea. Oh! Woo! Held on to it. We Gucci. We Gucci.
The car in front's lap time is at 1:53.53.
Whoa! Holy shit. Woo. Goddamn.
You're running last.
Okay. How far off am I? 8/10. Okay.
You're a 10th off in sector 1.
Dude, I can't hold it on the track.
Track limits.
It just doesn't have the grip. Does not have the grip. Whew. Sketchy. Oh no! That's a big tank slapper. That's no bueno. Alright, I don't like the... I don't know, what change did I make? Like, I guess it's just the tire pressures, but... Should I run this low? I guess we can try to run that low. Oh, Travis, you're here, thank God.
Why?
Because I'm slow as shit. I'm sure I'm still figuring out the setup, but...
Looks like you're clear on the pit exit.
Optimal for wets is like 29 to 30, right?
31, I think, but I think the optimal pressure is 30 exactly.
You're locking up your fronts a lot.
By the way, apparently ABS 1 is good in the rain in this car.
Huh?
Yeah.
I had it cranked up to like 6, 7.
Yeah, apparently 1 is the thing. I don't know why, but apparently it works. I saw Jardier do it.
Okay, I guess I'll give it a try.
Pit exit's clear.
And I've been using it, and there's nothing that, I mean, doesn't seem to be skidding or anything.
Guessing you have your bias pretty far rearward.
Yeah, I've got it almost all the way, 44. So 1% up.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's up, man?
Thanks for some wet coaching.
Oh, damn, everybody's in here now. There we go. give it another minute or two, see if anybody else joins up. I'm almost tempted to jump in the Ferrari.
When I was talking about how bad the BOP was, the Ferrari's the main offender here. Half a second ahead of us.
Tofu! Toph, go back upstairs. Jeez. Okay. Go back upstairs, bud. It's okay. Go upstairs. Alright, so for everybody here, is everybody here at least somewhat comfortable with the Glen as a whole in the dry? Like you know the track.
R. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Because what I would suggest is learn it in the dry first. Get really comfortable in the dry, and then jump into a wet server. You're pretty much pulling all your braking zones back by 50 meters or so. You know, like if you're braking at 150, you're braking at 200 this time. If you're braking at 100, you're braking at 150 this time, kind of thing. And then all I can really suggest, other than I'll go out and I'll do some laps and we'll kind of look at pain points and things like that. But all I can suggest is just lap. Lap as much as you can and get as comfortable as you can in changing conditions, because the track is going to constantly evolve. The session that we were in before this session started, so about half an hour, 40 minutes ago, people were running low 50s. The track was nearly dry. As soon as it restarted, boom, we're in the 54s, 53s. So it's just because there was a whole bunch of people in there drying the track out. There was a dry line, and it changes very fast. The other thing that I would suggest that I did last night, it was some good practice. If you load up single player, load up a race for like 20, 30 minutes, however long you think you want to go, and go max AI, start from the back of the field, and set the skill level to wherever you think you can keep up with. I'm a D1 driver. I was passing guys in the AI at 100 for about half the race. So if you're in a lower division, you might want to back the difficulty up by a couple clicks. But if you've got a full field in front of you, practice driving in the spray, practice pulling out of the spray, figuring out where to go. We can probably try that out later after we do a couple laps. But that's going to be the big thing here, is it's going to be a race of attrition. People are going to die going through the S's. They're going to die going through the chicane. And you just have to be ready to get through the race clean. Alright. I still don't really have a setup great yet, but I'll go out and do a lap or two here. Kind of show you guys. It's the same line as the dry. You're just pushing your braking points back. There's a couple points that I've noticed in the wet that you want to kind of avoid. Some of the curbs are okay, and some of them are not. Travis, if you notice anything that I haven't said, just let me know. But That's kind of what I've noticed is some of the curbs are okay to be on and some of them really throw you off.
Yeah, and it kind of depends on what you're doing with each of the curb, whether or not it's just going over while coasting or if you're accelerating on them. But yeah.
So I try to avoid the inside curve here. The outside curve here will throw you, at least in my limited expertise here. So I've been trying to stay off of that outside curve. I know that that's the faster line, but I've been trying to avoid it. There's all the track here. Obviously got to get the tires up to temp on the out lap. I'm braking at 200 here. You can use all of the exit here. It's not too slick out there. And brake at that Amazon sign there. You can use that curve if you need to. It's not too slick. I'm down in third here, just a quick third. This curve usually is fine on the exit there. And this curve near the wall is usually fine too. Ooh, don't do that. The curb on the outside of turn 1 here is pretty slick. So I've been trying to just go straight on it. As long as you're going straight, you're fine. If you're still in the turning phase when you hit it, you're going to lose it. The S's you can take flat, at least when you're alone and you're in clean air. The bus stop is pretty standard. I'm just braking earlier and I'm kind of coasting through
You're
it
10th off the
and then
pace in sector
powering
1.
out on the end. Again, trying to avoid the outside curve here. Back end really likes to step out in that corner, so just be careful with your throttle input. 200 board. Late apex this bad boy. Careful on the throttle, likes to step out. I think my tire pressures are still a bit too low.
That lap was a 154.17.
Probably want to be right around 30.
P1, you want to make sure you take it really late. In the dry, you can kind of do a mid-apex. You want to do a pretty late apex here because you can't go super wide on the
Under
exit.
the curb, yeah.
You're a 10th off in sector 1.
Yeah, setup's not quite there yet. See what I mean? To tend to lose it if you're on that outside curb on power. That's what I'm saying. Oh, I haven't tried this ABS-1 thing. Apparently the Porsche is good on ABS-1, according to Hardier, so we're gonna try that out. And then you kind of have to mess with your traction control and feel it out. Feel where you think you need it to be. Depends on the track condition. Like I turned in too early there and I took too much curb.
ABS 1.
I
Shorter
guess the
braking
brakes work
distance.
better. Yeah.
I'm also getting used to this ABS. I'm gonna hit the wall. Oh, maybe I'm not. Oh man.
You're a tenth off the pace in sector 1.
Yeah, I just don't really feel comfortable in the car yet. But now watch, if I come out here, it's gone. So I've been trying to avoid that thing.
These track limits.
I don't know about you, Travis, but that's what I've been doing because I
Yeah,
step on that thing
basically.
and it's gone.
You can kind of clip it, but you can't take much of it, and you have to basically not be turning when you're on it.
Does anybody have like specific questions for the wet? Like,
I got a aero question. How
Okay.
much rake would you change from your dry setup?
so the dry set. So I believe the dry set. I'll load it up here. The Go setup had full wing to begin with, so we can compare. The Tri setup had the same rake that I was running. I haven't changed the ride height at all yet.
Okay.
Oh shit!
I have
I just
the
cleared my wet setup, didn't I?
Go setup from Ferrari,
Uh huh.
and the rake is pretty aggressive. And I wonder if I should try to lower it. I haven't really done any laps yet, so I'll
When
try
you
it
say
out.
Go setup, do they have the wet setups out yet for the Ferrari?
No, they
or is
don't.
it
Nope.
They don't. Okay, no wets for anybody.
Correct.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
just changing the safe setup.
So I
in
know a
the wet
general
setup.
rule of thumb is that you want your overall ride height a little bit higher. So you want to actually increase, like normally front, you want to keep almost at a minimum or just like a little bit above, but you can actually add a couple clicks to the front ride height as well. And then I think for the rake, you really just have to feel it out as to what's going on with the car. If you're oversteering really bad, you need to go down. If you're understeering really bad, you need to go up.
Good stuff.
Yeah,
Alright, let's see
I
what I
haven't
can
really
do.
messed with it rake wise. I kind of have been still trying to get the tires right because the tire pressures are really important. And
What
then
brake ducts do you guys recommend? One or two, I guess?
Ducks, I'm running it too. I haven't looked at it in Motec to see what the temperatures are on the brakes, but it's been fine so far, just from a like visual standpoint on the HUD.
I guess all the flat out corners are now lists at the least.
not really. Like you can take
What about
the
the final corner or second to final corner?
second to final corner, the left-hander.
Yeah.
I am lifting and shifting down to third real quick. I don't know about the gearing on the Ferrari, but I'm slowing down a little bit, but I'm not really braking.
The ones going up the hill, I'm guessing is fine flat still.
Yeah, the S's is fine going up the hill. As long as you're in clean air. If you're in dirty air, it's a hell of a lift. But
Cool. Thank you.
alright, so let's mess with the tire pressures here. Trav, do you know what your colds are?
Yeah, let me check, because I have them almost perfect. Give me a second. Folds are 27.2 in the front and then 26.6 in the rear. Same for the left-right. It's symmetrical.
What was the rear? 26.6?
26.6 or 26.7.
In general, softer suspension, softer.
The guy ahead's
roll
last
bars.
lap time is a
In general, yes.
153.45.
Just making sure I'm remembering how to set wet up.
Yeah, I probably need to soften the roll bars. What do you typically like to do with your diff, Travis?
I have not messed with it yet.
Okay.
I need to experiment a little bit. I don't normally make my own setups. This is kind of uncharted territory.
Making wet setups is fun. I think having to build your own setup for every race is very stressful, but once in a while,
Yeah,
feels pretty fun.
yeah.
For dampers, are there any like rule of thumbs?
No, not really for dampers. Really, dampers you have to do in Motec. There's nothing really.
I mean, even Miltech, apparently the histograms are pretty meaningless, so the setup
Oh,
makers are
really?
not using it.
I kind of go off of at least. It depends on the car, but at least with the Porsche, it really likes to have soft bump on the rear.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much all across the board.
Yeah, so you tend to run the bump pretty low, the rebound like somewhere in the middle if you want it to be stable. If you want to stiffen it up, you go on the higher end. If you want to soften it up, you go on the lower end. And
Thing
then
about. Go ahead.
go ahead,
Sorry.
no, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna. You keep going on the dampers. I was gonna say something at the end. I thought you were done.
So the fast bump and rebound, at least for the rear, I've noticed the Go setups at least tend to run pretty high for the fast. So even like right now, it's only got 7 on the fast bump on the rear. That's actually kind of low compared to what it was for Spa and for PR.
I see.
They've been running the fast pretty high. So if you feel like it's a little too stiff in the fast corners, or you feel like you're a little too bumpy through the chicane, maybe you can
Isn't
lower those a little bit.
isn't that just for the aero stability over bumps though?
Pretty much. So you're not gonna feel it much unless you're like at this track. You're probably only gonna feel it
Bus
maybe.
stop,
Yeah,
maybe.
maybe going into the bus stop, like in the braking zone. Maybe you feel it in the corner after the bus stop, that long right-hander.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's probably the only spot you're really gonna feel it.
Okay.
I guess if you feel like it's hard to drive through the S's, like up the hill, coming out of turn 1, then
Mm-hmm.
mess with it. But
Okay.
I would say, yeah, set it somewhere on the higher end and just kind of go for feel, and it should work. Soft
What I was
springs
gonna
though,
say
but
on the dampers was that it's the last thing you should really mess with.
Yeah, for sure.
It's the least impact on your driving time and the car characteristics. So usually what I would recommend is just don't mess with them unless you have some sort of undesirable characteristic of your driving of the car over certain bumps or something that you can identify that you need to fix. If you can identify that you need to fix it, then go ahead and mess with it and see what you need to do to stop it from bouncing in certain spots or what have you. But if you don't really notice anything wrong, it's really not going to impact your time much at all.
Yeah, I was just thinking, since in general there's gonna be a very low grip situation, the what's it called, the slow dampers. I figured there might be some rule of thumb to move them to account for lower grip, but
generally you're
maybe
just gonna
not.
want to be softer.
Okay.
Maybe by a couple clicks than your dry setup, you're gonna want to be a little softer, but not by much.
Okay. And yeah, I already touched them last. I think Neil
Yeah,
said you can definitely break your setups with dampers, but you're not gonna gain much time with it.
yeah, probably. That's
Yep.
probably a good way to put it. The other things that I did, I took rear toe out of it, so I've only got -0.1 rear toe on it right now. I probably can take more out of it if it's still feeling sketchy. And I took a couple clicks of camber out of the rear. Make sure
Yeah,
you
I'm,
run your
I'm
wet
starting with full
tires.
fuel, so I have a completely neutral toe. Should be okay,
I
right?
haven't been running with full fuel, but let's take it out with full fuel.
Oh,
I think you want to reduce camber all over, including the front as well.
I haven't messed with the front, but
I think that's a general rule of thumb as opposed to, well, I mean, especially this whole 1.9 update has been like that, where you don't want as much camber as you used to be able to run.
yeah.
But even in the qualifying setups, in general, wet setups usually run a lot less camber as well. I think it's probably because of good contact while braking. And you're not going to be going as fast around corners, so the negative camber doesn't
Your exit looks
help
clear.
as much.
Stay
have a
behind the
super
line.
high amount.
The car in front has just posted a 152.94.
Yeah, see, it's already drying up a little more. There's already somewhat of a dry line compared to a couple minutes ago.
That's definitely one tip. Like, don't make your setup for super duper wet,
Yes.
because wet's not gonna stick around if you have a bunch of cars. I think that was my mistake for the first couple of wet races, and I had like burning tires by like 15 minutes in.
That was one of the things I really enjoyed about doing the AI race last night, was that I did it for half an hour, and after the first 10 minutes the track was almost just damp, and it was a good way to practice driving on a damp track like that in spray and getting used to that.
Pretty good idea.
As you guys can tell, Travis is faster than me.
You're on race fuel though, right?
Yeah, I just put a full tank in.
Yeah, I'm only at half a tank.
Brake pad 2.
It's a little sketchy through there if you don't take the right line. I will say that. So be careful going up the hill.
P3. You're a tenth off the pace in sector 1.
And avoid the grass right there that I just passed at the end of that curb. There's a huge divot, and it will throw your car in the air. Ask me how I know.
How do you know?
I did it, and I didn't check for damage, but I'm pretty sure I would have thrown a freaking spring through the bodywork. What's good to know is that with a full fuel tank, it feels more stable. Doesn't feel too pushy, it just feels
The
more
leader
stable.
has just done a 152.91.
I feel like that's the case normally with the Porsche. At least
Yeah,
in
more
my
understeer.
experience.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel too understeery because it's wet. It still feels pretty slick. It just feels a little more stable on the rear end. But
Yeah, I mean, the extra weight probably helps too.
yeah, just feels a little sluggish, that's all.
You're a tenth off the pace in sector 1.
Oh my god. The second to last corner. Gotta be careful on power.
Here, I'll hit it just to show you. Oh, now it's pushing. I'm running my TC at 5. That just felt like a decent spot where it's not kicking in too hard, but... And be careful to push through that corner, because if he pushes, there's nowhere to go, as you can see. Is there a server that has less people
Sector
in it?
3
I'll
is
try to do a
1.6
slow lap.
seconds
We can
off
go
the
over
pace.
If you want more rain or something, I can just reset it.
No, it's fine. I'll just do a slow lap and kind of go over where I'm braking and where I'm turning in and things like that.
Oh, I mean,
Here, there's
At least
an
I'm not
empty
getting
session.
less people around.
Yeah. There's
I mean,
no-
you're coaching. You can impede all you want.
There's
That's
no,
fine.
I don't want to do that. There's nobody in 2, so I'll join 2.
Now everyone's gonna join too.
Probably. All right.
Hello, Michael.
All clear on pit exit. You can push now.
Okay, so be careful on pit exit. You do have to lift quite a bit coming out to stay on the inside there.
We need to get some heat into these brakes.
Through here, pretty simple. You just stay close to the curb. Stay close to the curb. It might wash out on you in the arrow behind somebody. The arrow wash will push you out into that wall, so be aware of it. Here, it's kind of brake by feel depending on where the track state is. I'm looking at like the 200 board. Take all the curb you can. Take all the curb you can. And power it out. You can jump them quite a bit. I take like a midline into here. And then you're right in the middle here. You're going to power out. Again, you want to avoid this curb. You want to be right here if you can be. This is my braking point. That little... I don't know what it is. Let's look
Yellow
at it.
flag.
Is that a drainage?
Incident clear. Green flag.
Little drain on the side there. That's my braking point. So we brake there. Trail brake all the way in. You can kind of hold the inside. Power out at the apex. You can use the curb if you need to. Just don't hit that divot. Let's see what it looks like if I go slow. So if you come like this, there's a huge divot in there, so just be careful of that. You want to get off the curb before the grass. I brake right at about 150 there, right before the 100 board. Trail brake in, kind of hold an inside line the whole way, and then power out. You can use all the exit space out here if you need to.
What gear are you using on that?
Second through the middle of the corner. Sometimes I short shift into third on the exit. Depends on how it feels. Braking at the 200 board here. Usually I'd be braking right about here in 150 in the dry, but 200 in the wet. Same deal. Hold the inside. Power out. You can use all the exit. You can be all the way out here. That curb is not too slick. Braking point is this powered by AWS sign here. Late apex here. Right there. Use all the exit. Be careful on the exit there. There's not a lot of room to lose it. Right here, about the 100 board. Lift. Drive through. You can use this curve. It's not too bad as long as you're careful. Here. This is totally a feel thing. I don't really have a point. It's right about. Oh, I just got disqualified. uh, um, right in the middle of that corner. So after you come off the second to last corner, I give it, maybe right in the middle of the two corners, and then get on the brakes for the right-hander. Hit the curb on the inside, drive it all the way out to the wall. Oh, that worked out. And then turn one. We'll go back around real quick here, but
Pit exit's clear. Stay behind the white line. Your brakes are cold. We need to get some heat into them.
a lot more standing water on the track this time around. You can see it sitting there.
Gotta watch out for puddles.
Just going slow here. So like I said, midline. Come through here, hit the gas. Try not to use the exit like that, because that's what will happen. Brake at the drain there. Right about 150. Hold the inside. Drive it out. Brake at 200. Apex. Drive it out. Amazon sign. Late apex. Drive it out to the exit. 100-meter board. Giving it a quick stab of the brakes actually there. And then right in the middle here. Quick stab of the brakes. Get on the throttle early if you can. Drive it out. Then turn one, I'm braking. I'm gonna go slow here. Pretty much 200, or right before the 200. I'm kind of looking at where the track
Yellow flag.
narrows. Be careful.
Green flag. Incident
That
clear.
point there, where the track narrows.
Yellow flag.
In between here and the 200 board is where I'm braking.
The incident's clear. Green flag.
It's probably a little early, because I tend to turn in too early. You want to turn in late, because you want to only use this, and you want to try to straighten out as you get on the curb. The curb is very wet, so you have to be very careful out there. So here's what I'll do. Does anybody have anything else they want to go over? Any questions about anything? I'm going to load up a session that I did last night in solo so that you guys can see what it looks like in a race situation. So I have it set to, let's see, we'll start from the back. 100. I have it set to medium rain, which is probably a little bit more water than we're going to get usually. But it's good to do. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Really? 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 Really?